What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Happy Friday, by the way. Hopefully you guys got a good weekend lined up. I know it's going to be a busy weekend. We got tons of events happening, and right now the Orcs Path has just dropped in the game. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this. This is the event for the Packmaster Shayak Champion, as well as the Kro Khad 5-star Soul. And they are both active in the game and ready to be gotten. Look at this path, guys. It is basically looking like two mirrored paths, so it doesn't look too overly tricky. There is also a lighter path in the middle for a mythical book if you guys are going for that and don't need either Packmaster or the Soul. Remember, guys, that it's going to be a dungeon diving plus a shard event. So this is going to be summon shards, not get champions. So it has to be coming from a shard, and it's going to be dungeon diving. So it has to be getting artifacts either from dungeons or spider for accessories. Let's take a look at the point breakdown here real quick. So we got 4,500 for the sacred shard, which is pretty standard here for the top end shard. 1,800 for the primal looks pretty standard as well. 750 for the void. 300 for the ancient shard, which looks kind of interesting. That means each sacred shard is worth 15 ancient shards. Usually for a summon rush style event, sacred shards are worth 500 points and ancient shards are worth 20 points, which means each sacred shard is worth 25 ancient shards. That means in this event, the ancient shard seems to be having really good value and could be the way to go. Now, a quick breakdown of the dungeon point totals here. Usually I go with basically hard 10 kind of drop rates, and for that I go with the in between of the 5-star epic and the 6-star rare, so 31 and 38. So I usually go in between at 35. So I just use that as a rough average. So you're getting about 35 points per 20 energy, which is 1.75 orc points per energy. So we can use that as the calculation as well. All right, so let's take a look at the total cost of this whole thing, and that will determine whether some people are in or some people are out. Let's see here. So we got the breakdown here on this side. They look like totally similar mirrored paths, except for the cost of the soul versus the cost of the champion. So let's go down the Packmaster first. So because if you don't have either, I would suggest 100% going for the Packmaster because the combo works well together with the Packmaster and the dog. If you don't have the Packmaster, the dog is still pretty good, but just not as good. But I would say you would definitely go for the Packmaster instead of the Soul if you don't have either one. So let's go down for the Packmaster first. And this is a direct line down, guys. There is no trickery happening here. All right, so total cost for the Packmaster is 76,500 points. Now, if you want to break that down straight up into sacred shards, that is going to be 17 sacred shards, guys. That's actually a lot cheaper than what we actually thought, because and actually what history tells us it would have been at least 20 sacred shards. And yeah, in this case it's only 17. I mean, 17 is still pretty expensive, don't get me wrong, guys. 17 is super expensive, but in terms of getting a guaranteed legendary nowadays in 2025, 17 is actually lower than expected, to be honest. And 76,500 points. If you want to break that down into pure energy, it's going to cost you 43,000, just shy of 44,000 energy, based off of our 1.75 calculation. Yeah, 45,000 energy for a champion looks pretty standard, to be honest. It's in line with previous big events like this for dungeon diving. Sorry about that. The calculator was a little bit small there, but now you can kind of see, and I wrote it down anyways, so it's all good. But yeah, you're just going to be mixing energy with shards. Shards are going to be the big way you complete this event. And let's see, for the conversion to ancient shards, this is the one I'm actually kind of curious about. How many ancient shards? 255 ancient shards. Okay, so that is pretty expensive for a champion. If you consider him like a guaranteed ancient champion, it's costing you 255 ancient shards. That's still pretty expensive. So the way to do this event will still be straight up with sacred shards, and then you just top it up with energy. It is a 3-day event. It's not the normal 4-day event, or it could have been a 4-day event and then you have some extra time to grind energy, but it's a 3-day event, so that actually factors in a little bit here as well. But overall, it's cheaper than what we were expecting. Let's go down to the dog soul, and it looks like a mirrored path except for the cost of the soul, which is 50,000 versus 60,000. So we're only going to be paying 66,500, which divided by the sacred shard cost, it's going to be 14.77 sacred shards only. So at 14.8 sacred shards for the 5 stars, so that's one of the cheaper ones, to be honest. Lady Noel, I believe, was around 15 sacred shards. This was the most recent Christmas that happened. We also got a free sacred shard for Christmas, so that alleviates some of the cost as well. So yeah, 14.8, definitely one of the lower cost 5-star souls ever from these hero paths. So we're really happy to see that. And yeah, just for a quick completion breakdown here for energy, looking at about 38,000 energy to straight up do the soul if you want to do it that way. And I guess if you want to do a gem conversion here, so that's about 12,000 gems. It's pretty significant. Obviously, like I said, you don't want to be doing this straight from energy. You want to mix in some shards. 14.8 sacred shards is, yeah, like I said, on the cheaper side for the soul. And of course, if you want the whole package, let's see what's the total cost here. You got 66,555, 76,500, and then you got 143,000 points divided by total sacred shards. Just under 32 total sacred shards for both. You know, if you are in a position where you have to get both, it's going to be a slog. It's going to be a slog, guys. You're going to have lots of shards. You're going to need lots of shards to do this. Overall, for the package deal, it's still pretty cheap. I think maybe it's because Packmaster was a old fusion that they probably are making it slightly cheaper. I'm not too sure. But the soul, like I said, is also slightly cheaper than normal. A little bit interesting. I think this is probably a small W here from Plarium, giving a little bit of a break for the players. Considering that the amount of events that have been happening in the last week or so have been pretty crazy. So it's probably a little bit of a break for players here. 15 sacred shards for the soul. I'm happy to see that for sure. So I'll definitely be participating for that. Keep in mind that, you know, on your way to, you know, paying 15 sacred shards, you're actually not getting much along the way. You're getting a 6-star, you know, epic, or 4-star chicken. Like you're not getting anything along the way, to be honest. So it's a pretty weak reward structure, but you know, the main prize is the soul or the champion, of course. If you don't need either soul or champion, you could deviate and grab a book, which is going to run you 21,500 points if you want to go grab a book. Each side is going to be the mirrored side. So if you just go for one side, 21,500, and then in terms of overall sacred shards, 4.77 sacred shards, so 5 sacred shards. You know, in terms of a summon rush equivalent, you're not getting much for 5 sacred shards nowadays, so that's 2,500 points. You definitely don't see a Lego book. So this is actually a really, really sweet deal, to be honest, in terms of Lego book price. So 21.5, and it's going to cost you what, 4.8 sacred shards for a Lego book. And like I said, that's a really good price. You don't really see that at summon rushes for less than 2,500 points ever. So if you're looking for a Lego book, good price. Now the other option is going down to the Mythical book. If you want to just get the Mythical book, here it is. I would probably go for the shard here and book. All right, so Mythical book price comes in at 48,750 points, which breaks down to Sacred Shard cost of 10.83. 10.83 total Sacred Shards. You know, for 10.83 Sacred Shards, that's about 5,500 points on a normal summon rush. That's a pretty good deal, actually. 5,500 points. You're not really seeing Mythical books at that price on normal summon rushes. So I think overall, you got some pretty good options here for most people. There's also going to be a progressive event that's happening right now. Now, I'm not overly bothered by the progressive event, but there is some gems here. We have Freya, we have the Toad, Brogni, Zaharis, and we have Faina. Fena is actually super nice and probably going to be the prize here for most people. So if people are going to whale out maybe like ancient shards, sacred shards, then Fena is probably going to be their top pick. And then yeah, you get a pretty good summon rush style, hero's path or whatever, to go along with it. I think it's a pretty good win. I don't think this progressive event or anything like that is like super crazy. For example, the void champions here are not not great. Like they're good, but they're not super draw heavy. So the biggest draw here is going to be Fena. But yeah, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. You get a nice orc path to go along. You got some cheap books, cheap mythical books, cheap Lego books. Like I said, in a regular summon rush, you're not going to get a Lego book for less than 5 sacred shards like ever. So if you really need a Lego book, there it is. The mythical book here at 11 sacred shards is also still a relatively good deal. Not as crazy good as the Lego books, but still a good deal. And honestly, the champion and the soul are good deals relative to what we've seen in the past. So overall, a big W here from Plarium for a more reasonable hero's path here. Hopefully it works out for you guys. Keep in mind, don't do this completely with energy. It doesn't make any sense. It's a lot of energy. Definitely mix in some shards. The ancient shards seem to have relatively good value at 300 points relative to each sacred shard. It's still going to be expensive if you're just going to use ancient shards to pay for the whole thing, but it makes it a little bit more reasonable to mix in some ancient shards. You don't feel so bad about using this time for a summon rush style event like this. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys were prepared for this. I know some people were thinking it's going to be soul stones, but of course, the most likely one would have been shards. Hopefully you guys have some shards saved up and didn't use them all last week or earlier this week, especially if you really needed the Packmaster, because without Packmaster, I don't think Kro Khad reaches the potential that he can reach for Hydra damage. So you definitely want the Packmaster together with Kro Khad. You can definitely live without the soul because you can build that up over time. And yeah, hopefully you guys get some nice pulls here. Best of luck on the Orcs path. Keep in mind that the Ramantu training tournament will be starting up tomorrow. So you guys want to pay attention just in case you guys want to go for the double dips and triple dips that are happening. So obviously you guys can farm the dragon tournaments and then farm food as well so that you can participate in the champion training, get points for the Orcs path. And keep in mind that we also have a Prism event, Dragon Tournament coming tomorrow as well. So you can do, yeah, like I said, Dragon Tournament with the champion training, but it's going to be Lizard Men only. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult than usual. I expect Venom Mage, it's going to be huge for this Dragon Tournament. If anything, I'm running out of Lizardmen to level up for food. I don't have that much Lizardmen, so I'm like buying Lizardmen in the market, and whenever I can, whenever I see Lizardmen, I'm like, okay, I gotta use this guy as a food. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully it was helpful for you guys. It's a pretty easy breakdown here, I think, in terms of the Orcs path. Very straightforward, no real twists and turns, no real tricks. And the price is more than reasonable, so that's very, very good to see. And even the books and the mythical books are very, very reasonable as well. So it's a little bit of everything for everybody at a reasonable price. Not a crazy progressive event, but still probably worthwhile to some people out there, especially for Fena. And yeah, super busy weekend here. We got the training event, Dragon Tournament. We got the Prism event tournament as well. So a lot of stuff happening, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. Thank you guys for watching until the end. Have a great weekend in Raid, in life, and I'll see you guys in the next video.